Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for the final pitches of the 40 Acre Founders Pre-Accelerator program. My name is Barrett Pierce, and I am the program manager for the Herb Kelleher Entrepreneurship Center as of February of this year. The 40 Acre Founders program is sponsored by the Herb Kelleher Entrepreneurship Center, where we promote the development of entrepreneurial skills and support exploration of the ways these skills can be applied to careers as founders or innovators within established firms. We do this by encouraging the discovery of university-wide entrepreneurship and startup resources, educating students through an innovative curriculum, providing mentorship from experienced entrepreneurs, engaging students with a community of Longhorn leaders that embody the entrepreneurial mindset, and empowering students by providing a space for emerging founders to initiate real-world experience in a low-risk environment. The 40 Acre Founders Pre-Accelerator program is one example of programming we run to support students across the 40 acres. The program offers founders the opportunity to study customer discovery, improve their product, establish product market fit, and position their product for success within the market. When exploring the reasons why startups fail, we know one of the largest contributing factors is a lack of understanding regarding product market fit. Throughout this semester, our cohort of student founders have been exploring areas important to establishing product market fit for their startup concepts, including interviewing potential customers, developing their value propositions, examining possible customer segments, and conducting market and competitor research. These founders now have a better understanding regarding the importance of ensuring a market need exists for any product or service and have the tools needed to continue vetting these for future ideas. Many are now also ready to move on to additional programs that exist within the entrepreneurial ecosystem here at UT Austin. The founders represent colleges across the university, including the McCombs School of Business, Moody College of Communication, Cockrell School of Engineering, and College of Natural Sciences. Today you'll be watching the pitches from the top 4 founder teams from our program who scored highest in our preliminary judging round. Each founder or team will have 10 minutes to present their pitch, followed by 10 minutes of Q&A with our panel of judges. Upon conclusion of all pitches, our judges will move into a deliberation room. Once deliberations are complete, we will return to announce today's results. We will be awarding 5 non-dilutive grant funding prizes today. First place will be $10,000, second place will be $5,000, third place will be $3,000, and fourth place will be $2,000. But don't leave during deliberations because there also will be an audience participation prize for all of our runner-up pitches. That prize will be $1,000, and you all get to vote for that $1,000 prize today. Before we begin, I would like to also recognize and introduce our judges today. We have an experienced panel to provide feedback for our founders. I would like to invite our judges to go ahead and introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Billy Freed.
I'm Billy Freed. I'm a 1981 graduate of the McCombs School. From the mid-'80s to mid-'90s, I built and subsequently sold a group of niche telecommunications businesses that were headquartered at Dobie Mall. The most significant of which sold inbound 1-800 telephone numbers to parents of college students. Needless to say, this changed that world. From 96 to 07, I taught the very first entrepreneurship and venture creation class at Trinity University in San Antonio. And I currently serve as Trinity's investor in residence. And for the last 30 years, I've co-managed a family investment partnership that has been involved in a lot of different things. But very happy to be here and looking forward to seeing the presentation.
Hello, my name is Carol Frank. I'm the managing director of Bird's Eye Advisory Group, which is a boutique M&A firm specializing in the pet industry. So we sell companies for founder entrepreneurs who have reached a certain size, probably 25 to 100 million in revenue, and they're ready to exit or find a partner. I, too, am a 1981 graduate of the McCombs School of Business. So we may have had some classes together, Billy. I was an accounting major, started my career as a CPA, went to work for one of the big firms, had an incredible education here, Started my first company in the late 80s. It was a pet company, and then I started and sold 4 pet companies before becoming an investment banker. I've had the privilege of judging a lot of business plan competitions over the years, and also I get to see a lot of businesses with what I do for a living. So I also serve on the Herb Kelleher Center for Entrepreneurship Advisory Board, and I'm super excited to be here. I live in Boulder, Colorado, and my flight was late, and the line for the rental car was really long, so I'm sorry I was so late getting here.
Hi guys, Zon Myberg, originally from South Africa, so unfortunately didn't have the opportunity to go to school here. Only hear good things. So I run a fintech-enabled B2B lender, so we finance businesses across the US, underwrite about 500 businesses per day, and we fund businesses sort of throughout any industry and any sort of geography. So I get to see a lot of different companies created by different entrepreneurs, and very happy to be here.
Thank you, judges. On behalf of the Herb Kelleher Entrepreneurship Center, I would like to thank all of you for donating your time and supporting our Texas entrepreneurs. Now we're ready to get started. Please give a round of applause to welcome Vedant.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vedant Nair, and I'm one of the co-founders of Clips AI. So my freshman year, my fellow co-founders Armel, Ben, and myself decided to start a podcast, and it was awesome. Every week, we sat down, read a nonfiction book, distilled its ideas, and talked about it on the podcast. But there was a problem. We just didn't get that many viewers. So, in order to grow our audience, we decided to take short clips of our content and post them on TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. And when we created these clips and distributed them successfully, the results were awesome. Armel's TikTok flew to 30,000 followers and 1.5 million likes. Thanks to the viral nature of these platforms, we were able to reach audiences that we never had before. But creating those clips was so dang hard. Every week for a 1-hour podcast, we'd spend about 3 to 4 hours first finding and selecting the best moments. Then going through the tedious process of resizing those clips, editing them, adding captions, visual assets, and the cherry on top, we had to actually go and post those all to social media. It was a grueling endeavor, and as time-starved college students, we just didn't have the time to afford it. So we decided to try to outsource it to an editor. But when we saw that the going rates were about $5,000 a month, we knew that we had no other choice but to build something ourselves. We envisioned a solution that was almost like magic, that we would sit down, record a podcast, and in a snap, the work would be done for us. And AI would go, select the best clips, do the necessary editing, and then deliver them to social media, all without us having to lift a finger. And the best part was that we would ensure that our social media growth was optimized, thanks to the AI. So, in January, we began to deliver on this vision by launching our closed alpha. In our closed alpha, users can upload a podcast and they can automatically generate clips from it. Let's look at how it works. It looks like it's not auto-playing. How's that? Okay, perfect. So what you do is you just upload a podcast with a file or a YouTube link. From there, our algorithm runs and automatically generates a bunch of different clips. Each clip has an automatically generated title and a transcript. You can edit that transcript using our editing tool, add context, and find that perfect moment. And if you're searching for a specific topic or moment, you can use our keyword search too. And from there, it's easy as clicking a few buttons to download. And you might be asking, how does this algorithm work? Well, the best part is that this is proprietary technology that we built ourselves. Basically, we use something called NLP, natural language processing. We take this transcript and use the text embeddings that we have using our AI to actually find where there's semantic differences and the ideas are going on. It's much like a human reading a passage and finding breakpoints of the ideas, only we're 10 times faster and 10 times more accurate. And while building this product and doing customer research, we actually found that the most pressing people who needed this product weren't on individual content creators like ourselves. They were the marketing teams and media agencies whose ability to repurpose content quickly and effectively actually led to top-line revenue. For these media agencies, it was their ability to support more clients. And for these marketers, their increased engagement on social media led to more leads and increased revenue. So we decided to focus on them. And this actually turned out great for us in the first few months. We're already doing $500 MRR, and mind you, this is a closed alpha. Users have to sign up to actually use the product on a wait list, and there's actually no mechanism for them to pay. The users are paying us have just loved the product so much that they wanted to compensate us in some way, and we were happy to take their money. On the usage side, things have been going great as well. Our North Star metric is number of clips exported a week, because that tracks the value our users are getting from our product. And as you can see, we've been steadily increasing and just actually did our best week this last week. And when speaking about our business model, I want to introduce you to someone named Jeremy. So Jeremy is a CEO of a podcasting agency. And I think Jeremy's, experience with Clips AI really shows how focused we were on our customer. You see, Jeremy has spent his past 10 months at this podcasting agency paying people for usage. Whether it's his editor's time or softwares that, charged him for usage but just didn't give him the output, he was always stuck with spending empty dollars and not getting the results he wanted. But with Clips AI, he was surprised and delighted to find out that he actually paid for the number of clips exported, because that's how our pricing is tiered. So he knew that as he paid us more, he would get more value from us. And I'm happy to say that he's one of our paying customers now. And in comparing ourselves to their competition, Clips AI has a focus and dedication to solving the most important problem first. Let me give you an example. So Jeremy actually tried out these other competitors and churned off of them, because they tried to solve problems that weren't the most important. My apologies. So the core problem is, can you create a clip and can you create it automatically? But they tried to move on to these secondary features before doing that, which meant that Jeremy's team couldn't actually automate any parts of their workflow. But with Clips AI, because we're focused on automating clipping and creating the best result in the quickest possible time, he's been able to save hours of time every week. And our roadmap on creating things like virality prediction and clip summarization means that Jeremy can ensure that this one core part of his workflow, creating those clips, will always be perfect and automated. And it turns out there's a whole lot of Jeremys in the world. Between the media agencies and the marketing companies and even the creator economy, this is a massive $100 billion market. And we're using media agencies as our beachhead because we found out that in AI, data is your moat. These media agencies are processing thousands of more clips than their counterparts on a month-by-month basis. And this helps us train our model to make it the most effective and make it the best product on the market. And what we learned is that we didn't actually have to have an end-to-end product in order to scale this and go to market. If we could just focus on one problem, solving and creating these clips, and deeply embed it to their workflow, we can make it a really sticky product that these media agencies will use. And then, in maybe 12 to 18 months, once we've collected enough data and really mastered the art of creating clips and creating them automatically, we can then move on to owning other parts of the workflow and creating an end-to-end solution that's high quality. And we're the best team to execute on this vision because we have experience. Like I mentioned, Armel scaled his TikTok to 30,000 followers and 1.5 million likes. He's worked alongside companies to create content for them, so he knows how to position ourselves in the short-form content space. And Ben is one of the most technically gifted people I've ever met. He reads machine learning research papers for fun. And I don't know. But him reading those research papers actually led him to stumble across one from the 80s that he actually used as inspiration to build our model. And if there's anyone I'm putting my money on to create and execute on this technical vision, it's Ben. And then me, I'm the business brains behind it all. My only job is to make sure that traction and usage are going up and to the right. And we need these funds because we're launching to the public on May 1st. We already have 300 active users and are looking to convert all of those into paying customers and continue to scale our vision. But we need the money to make sure that our product can keep improving. Training models can be expensive, and we want to make sure that we have the best solution on the market. And before I leave you, I want to answer this question. Why now? It's no secret that TikTok and Instagram are so popular. But sometimes what we fail to notice is that the people creating the content and pushing the narrative are these multi-billion-dollar corporations or mega creators who are influencing our next generation in all the wrong ways. It's because they have more resources than the people in this room, than us, our dorm room podcasters. And they're able to distribute their content to every corner of the internet. What we need is a level playing field. What we need is an AI content marketing team behind everyone's backs to amplify their voice, to help them find their communities and to make a difference. And so that maybe one day that the future of social media will be one where there's positive information. We're connecting people in their communities and actually making a difference. Thank you so much. This has been Clips AI. You can check us out at clipsai.com/register, and I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Growing up, I had a secret tool in my back pocket, a special encyclopedia that was a life hack as a teenage girl. My dad, Bo, who's a practicing gynecologist. As you can imagine, this made asking questions about my body and getting quick answers that I could trust very easy. However, when I became sexually active, our relationship began to change, and even I didn't feel comfortable talking to my parent anymore. This is a very common sentiment for teens. Unsurprisingly, 50% of teens feel uncomfortable talking to their parents about sex, and we heard this time and time again after interviewing them. However, we learned that there was more to this story. We learned that this discomfort pursued regardless of the attitudes that their parents had about sex. We heard quotes that said, "My mom always tells me that she's non-judgmental and 100% supportive, but I still didn't want to tell her I was having sex." And this disheartens parents, with over 85% of them supporting comprehensive, medically approved sex education for their children. And we would hear quotes like, "I want to talk to my kids about sex, but I feel awkward bringing up the topic and like I don't know enough to teach them." These two feelings, coupled with teen resistance, leaves parents hoping that comprehensive resources exist for their kids to refer to. And in the most ideal situation, this would be schools.
Sadly, we found that that was not the case. Of 115 people that we surveyed, we found that 80% of students did not have a designated sex presentation, class, or presentation. And of those that did, their Texas-based schools focus on abstinence-based education, meaning that over half of the time, they didn't even cover concepts as basic as condoms, and even over a third of the time, they didn't cover concepts as important as consent. So, where do teens go to actually get their information about sexual and menstrual health? They go to the internet. A picture that I can paint for you is being up at night, having questions about things that are going on with your body, scrolling through Google, YouTube, and even TikTok. But little do teens know that most of what they're seeing on the internet is far from the truth. So much so that physicians are warning against misinformation spreading across the internet. Influencers are generalizing their personal experiences to facts. From health blogs to internet personalities, teens are consuming this content that is so overwhelming. They are met with unanswered questions, and they are met with contradicting answers.
So here's the current system. Parents and schools are failing to deliver comprehensive sex education, leaving teens with thousands of unanswered questions, and teens are taking to the internet where they're subject to misinformation. And this is where Locket comes in. Hi, everybody. My name's Alyssa.
And I'm Paulina.
And we are the Locket team. We're building the new go-to platform for menstrual and sexual health education. Alongside us in this journey is our amazing advisory board with backgrounds in practicing medicine, advocating for health equity, and building businesses. They have been able to provide us invaluable support throughout this journey. From the beginning, it's always been really important for us to holistically understand the problem. Over time, we have conducted over 50 one-on-one user interviews with teens. Not only did we get to hear about their personal stories and experiences, but we got to learn about their current knowledge and their learning preferences. Additionally, we were able to conduct over 10 stakeholder interviews to paint a fuller picture. This includes conversations with professors, physicians, school board members, and school nurses. Last but not least, we've hosted 4 focus groups and garnered over 280 responses on various surveys that we've created.
So all of this extensive research drew us to 3 common pain points. The feeling of isolation that comes from not knowing who you can talk to, and like we mentioned, a lack of accurate information. But even those really accurate sources on the internet that teens probably should be using are often the most unengaging for teens. So we plan to tackle these pain points by 1, creating a judgment-free community, 2, providing medically approved and inclusive information, and lastly, wrapping all of that into a teen-friendly package to make sure that we make learning fun and inviting. And we found that the best way to do that was through a mobile application.
So the Lockit mobile application will have two primary offerings. One, our own branded educational content, and then two, a community-sourced experience board where users can post about any and every experience related to sexual and menstrual health. As you can see on this left screen, this is the home screen where users will be able to browse our medically approved resources, and front and center is that search bar. So, for example, if I was curious about the birth control patch, this might be an example of the results that I see. As you can notice, the viewers can see both Lockit's educational content as well as relevant experience posts, and this way they get formal curriculum about their search query in addition to the human aspect of it as well. So let's say I wanted to go ahead and click that first option. How does the birth control patch work? Here's an example of what a Lockit module would look like. As you can see, the users can view a short video related to the search query, and they can also scroll down for some more information. By including user polls, physician audio quotes, and short copy, we're creating an engaging and multimedia experience that is way better than 500-word articles. When it comes to how we stack up against other players in the market, accurate information is where a lot of these similarities end. It's our package of a moderated community and multimedia content in that convenient mobile application platform that really makes our platform compelling. But it's being for and by young adults who understand what teens want to engage with and what teens respond to that makes our platform powerful.
So to build our curriculum, we first source questions from teens that they want and need answers to. We then research that information and work with our board to make sure that what we're giving out to our users is accurate. And lastly, we go into that content creation phase where, like Alyssa showed, we wrap all of that up into fun, bite-sized modules. So when it comes to actually sourcing our questions, we use three resources: Google Trends, Quora, and Reddit. We primarily use Google Trends, however. That is because of two of its features: its top queries feature, which you can see on your left, and the rising queries feature, which you can see on your right. So with the top queries feature, we actually use that to build our core curriculum. So those really fundamental questions that all of teens have about certain topics. So for instance, all of these results came from the search term STD. So topics like STD testing and STD symptoms would be things that we would include in that core curriculum. But more excitingly, from the rising queries feature, we can see things that people are searching more sporadically but are more common in certain points in time. And so in addition to having that core fundamental curriculum, we are able to answer these more specific questions that are becoming more popular as time goes on. To actually research this information, we have a list of physician-approved websites like Medline Plus and the CDC website that are also often run by the government. And when it comes to building our curriculum board, we've had difficulties in the past with actually creating an effective board. So this semester, we decided to take a step back and actually meet and have conversations with two third-year med students, Rabab and Faraz, and an adolescent health physician, Dr. Manji. Through these discussions, we've been able to rebuild the foundation of what we want our curriculum board to be and generate these new board leads.
So to monetize our platform, we'll be using a freemium model. Users can access the experience board and our educational resources for free with advertisements, but for $4.99 a month or $49 annually, they'll be able to have an ad-free experience as well as access to additional special features, which include being able to request content that they want to see on the app, in addition to an extended inventory of educational resources. This past month, we hosted a focus group with 8 parents, and we saw a very clear need in the market for parents to have a resource that they can pass to their children to explore. And it's because of this that we're targeting this premium offering towards parents. In terms of calculating our market size, we defined our serviceable obtainable market as menstruators within that high school age range of 15 to 19 with supportive parents in Texas, and that lands us at over 726,000 individuals, showing great market potential.
So to capture all of these customers, we're going to be leveraging 3 main channels. So social media to increase brand awareness. For teens, that means Instagram and TikTok. And for parents, that means things like Facebook groups and neighborhood apps like Nextdoor. We are also going to be using reference groups to use our word of mouth to increase customer interest. And so with that means student organizations like Girl in STEM and Girl Up, because those are really influential social groups that teens are a part of. And for parents, that word of mouth is really powerful, with over 75% of parents saying that they rely on word of mouth to find new content for their kids. So PTOs and HOAs are really important. And lastly, inbound marketing. We recently launched our Lockit blog, and so with consistently posting there and optimizing our SEO, we're meeting teens where they are during that search on the internet. And so looking ahead, we plan to launch our app in April of 2024. So some things we're looking to do more closely right now are to incorporate, build our curriculum board, and finish that core curriculum.
In a time where innovation is defined by new and exciting technologies like AR, VR, and blockchain solutions, we think it's time to innovate the age-old problem of sex education. So join us in building the modern encyclopedia that's going to change youth health education forever. Join us in building Lock It. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elliot Zach. I'm the founder and CEO of MealBuddy. MealBuddy aims to help Americans, particularly in families, improve their nutrition by ordering healthy groceries for delivery to cook USDA-approved recipes, all while tracking their dietary goals. With the family in mind, MealBuddy completely rethinks the traditional diet tracking app. Rather than encourage our users to gain or lose weight with unhealthy strategies like other diet and nutrition apps do, we focus on encouraging users to meet their daily dietary recommendations and eat with their families, which is proven to help both children and parents in the family lessen feelings of distress and also helps parents control and manage what their children are eating every day. The MealBuddy app will be used on all platforms as a mobile application on your phone and tablet, as a web application on your laptop. The main issue that MealBuddy addresses is that the vast majority of Americans are not eating healthy. Most of us are not consuming enough vegetables, grains, and dairy. And these issues result in many people, both on all spectrums, all groups of Americans, becoming obese or overweight. And in particular, children are really struggling with this issue, especially 9 through 13. They're over-consuming nutrients like sodium, added sugar, and saturated fats. See those bubbles? We want those numbers to be close to 100. And we're seeing 50, especially for children. For the students in the room, if we've got a 50 on the exam, we're not feeling too great, right? And so maybe there's a curve, but there's no curve here. It's just pretty bad. So the big issue here is that caregivers of young children and also those that take care of elders in their family are struggling to balance all their responsibilities while finding great healthy recipes and tracking their children's and their parents' diets every day. So take Rick. He's a Texas McCombs MBA candidate. He's a father of 3. Can you imagine how much there is to balance for him every day, taking care of his family? But he's still wondering, how can he track his family's diet? How can he know him and his children, his partner's dietary recommendations? And to add on, food is being wasted at astronomical rates in America. It costs the average family of $400 to $1,500 per year. 1/3 of food in America is wasted, and so much of that ends up in landfills, leading to negative environmental effects. But MealBuddy reduces this issue by encouraging people to have more mindful grocery shopping and not over-purchase groceries, leading to food waste. MealBuddy is very valuable and differentiated from other diet and nutrition apps because it's 100% free to our users. We don't even want to call them customers. They're more like users that just benefit from using the app. It's very family-focused. For a family of up to 5, they can use this app. And it's we integrate with Instacart Grocery Delivery, which is a very popular grocery delivery service. So for our users, if they want to find a really great recipe that's healthy and balanced, they might go to one of these recipe websites like allrecipes.com. And if they find a recipe but they need to order the groceries, they might go to Instacart. If they want to know their dietary recommendations, they might consult the USDA MyPlate recommendations, so the Dietary Guidelines for Americans information, which is what MealBuddy bases all of our nutritional data on. Or they might, if they have a kid, they might go to a pediatric dietitian, or they might consult a dietitian themselves. But MealBuddy takes all these great resources and puts them in one awesome free app. So compared to other diet and nutrition apps like MyFitnessPal, which is used by people all over the world, it's very popular. MealBuddy is great because it's 100% free, whereas the other apps charge about $10 to $20 a month for all their features. We integrate with grocery delivery like Instacart. We're very family-focused. And we have USDA-approved recipes pulled from the USDA My Kitchen, which our competitors do not do. So take a page from the app, like our USDA-approved recipe. These recipes, you can filter them, and you can see them like your favorite salads or meat lovers recipes. You can see nutritional data, how to prepare it, what's in it. And if we press the button to update our chart, which you can have diet tracking charts for yourself or your family members, it'll update your charts, which I'll show you in a second, or you can press the button that says Instacart. It takes you here. It takes you to Instacart, which with your grocery cart already set up for you. If a MealBuddy customer adds one of these, user adds one of these items to their Instacart cart, MealBuddy earns a 5% commission on the entire cart total when the order is placed. This is how MealBuddy generates revenue. So here's one example of a MealBuddy chart, and this is proprietary charts. So here's a food group intake chart. So as we eat, our chart fills up. At the beginning of the day, it's empty. And as you eat maybe a salad, you'll see your vegetables fill up on that chart. And at the end of the day, you hope for your chart to be full. That means you've met your personalized dietary recommendations. You can also view more expansive dietary recommendations for you or anybody else in your family. You can also view your calorie intake. And if you don't want to see these charts, if it bothers you, you can turn them on or off as you please. We also offer informational resources curated by experts, nutritionists, medical doctors, not just on nutrition, but also on how to raise your family, how to have better relationships, and also how to eat healthy. So we take some of the the dietary guidelines for Americans, about 200 pages, and we condense that into one page for each food group. We also understand that so many people in America struggle with food insecurity, so we've partnered with the largest organization fighting hunger in America, which is Feeding America. So MealBuddy users can be taken to a Feeding America MealBuddy branded donation page so that we encourage our users to donate, because every dollar can provide so many meals for those in need. And so as we start, we're going to launch the app as a progressive web app on mobile and web. But we understand that to reach more eyes, to get more users, we want to launch as an app on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. But some issues we might encounter are higher user acquisition costs than expected, and also issues on the grocery store Instacart level, which are kind of out of our control. But by partnering with grocery stores, having close relationships with influencers, and also using other grocery delivery services like Amazon Fresh or H-E-B Favor, we can mitigate these risks. So over the next 3 years, we hope to sort of increase our users at a good rate, hopefully around 120,000 to 140,000 users at the end of 3 years. Incorporate as LLC, and ensure that our app is being viewed by the most amount of people by having very optimized marketing campaigns, specifically on social neighborhood networking sites like Nextdoor, also through nutritionist offices, in schools, and gyms. So although we do focus on the family, because other diet and nutrition apps simply don't address this market, the app, it's optional to have other members of your family in the app, so it could be used by individuals as well, like health-conscious millennials. So by looking that there's 80 million possible users of diet and nutrition apps in America, and there's about 4 million middle-class households in Texas, and that's where our marketing effort will be concentrated at the beginning, we can estimate that we'll have about 120,000 users with a 3% market share in the next 3 years. And so basing the fact that Instacart generates about $120 per order, and we get a 5% commission on that order, there's no extra fees. If the users, which this research is coming from an organization that researched Instacart orders, we estimate that we'll get about 10 to 12 orders and 5% commission on each of those orders for about $60 average revenue per user over the year. We should reach about $3 million of profit by the year 3. This is the second startup I've built. The first was Sweet Cloud Gifts, an online retail shop specialized in ethically sourced chocolates and gifts, which surpassed 7,000 orders, 108,000 in revenue. I'm an incoming intern at TI, and I've got a great team of advisors, both that have started as very successful startups or have consulted startups, and really know how to gain the most amount of users that we're looking for. And so, besides being the 40 Acres Founders, which I've loved, also in the seed program this semester at UT, I can go more into the financials now, or maybe in the Q&A if anybody has questions. And I'd love to connect with you. And we're currently taking waitlist submissions as the app is still being developed. But you can go to mealbuddy.info and sign up for the waitlist. I'd love to have all of you join soon. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. We're Sprout Food Solutions, and we're in the business of automating the end-to-end ingredient purchase process for restaurant owners. Let's jump right into the problem. So this is Emma's Breakfast Club. Emma opened 4 years ago and now has 11 employees as an independently standing restaurant. So in terms of their ingredient purchase process, the first step requires an inventory check, where Emma's chefs take inventory every day, figuring out which ingredients they have on their shelves and how much of it they need. Then secondly, would be filling out purchase orders, which would either be done by the same chef or a different one, where they plan and fill out purchase slips to hand to the managers and figure out exactly how many ingredients of each menu item they need for the following week. Thirdly, which is arguably the most tiresome, is planning and calling vendors, where on average, every restaurant we've talked to has had at least 8 independent vendors where managers have to email, call, or fill out purchase orders on their website. However, the hassles aren't only summarized with these 3 steps. There's a lot of hassles in between, whether that's miscommunication between chefs and managers, or human error when logging in purchase orders, having to shop unnecessarily because they misplanned and ingredients ran out and someone physically has to go to a store and buy it, or alternatively, they buy too many ingredients and the ingredients perish and has to be thrown away. And all in all, this summarizes to $1,809 per month that restaurants have to spend on the entire ingredient purchase process. However, the costs go beyond just the monetary implications, with 54 hours of labor across managers, chefs, and owners being spent on this process.
We address this problem with our end-to-end ingredient purchasing solution. So this consists of 3 processes. So starting with the POS system, we have access to the restaurant's raw line item data. We take this raw data, we put it into a machine learning forecast with 95% accuracy and forecast the sales for the upcoming week. From these forecasted sales, we can purchase ingredients. So starting at the POS system, every transaction in a restaurant's logged. This gives us access to a wealth of raw data consisting of the time and date of sale, quantity sold, the price, and more. From this raw data set, we can combine it with other relevant data for the forecast. So an example of this would be the weather forecast for the upcoming week, events, or even holidays. We then put this into this machine learning model, and we're able to forecast the sales with 95% accuracy. So from these sale forecasts, we break it down by ingredient and place these orders to their vendors automatically. So for large vendors like Cisco and US Foods, they have existing APIs, so we can place these orders right away easily. But for these small vendors, a lot of restaurants work with more local vendors, more boutique shops. So right now we're using text-to-speech software because a lot of restaurant owners just call these people, but eventually we're going to build out our own vendor portals for these two to interact. This breaks down to time and money saved for the restaurant owner. So time and labor saved, cost and labor saved, and cost and food loss saved.
Great. So now let's take a look at our competition and who potential customers might take into consideration. And the 2 that we identified is Tenzo, which is an inventory management software, which essentially digitizes how many ingredients are in the back office, and they currently charge $379 a month. And secondly is lineup.ai, which is a demand forecasting tool, which simply takes a 4-week lag period and the year to date looking at sales. However, really where we differentiate is clear on the right side here, where both Tenzo and lineup.ai's homepages really emphasize a dashboard. However, we're not in the business of dashboards, and this brings up the question of how are we different? Well, first, we have a one-click onboarding compared to the 1-month onboarding of both of our competitors. And the reason we're able to do this is because we're getting integrated with POS systems such as Toast and Square and get access to the wealth of information that Jackson was referring to. Next, we have end-to-end functionality, where Tenzo only focuses on inventory and lineup.ai only focuses on demand. We focus on the entire process, seeing how much demand there's going to be, and actually placing the orders on behalf of the restaurant owners. Third is our 95% level of accuracy of our predicted amount to the actual number of sales. And lastly, and most importantly, there's no dashboard, there's no UI, and there's no hassle. Sprout Food Solutions prides itself on really the only required UI to be used by owners is their text message app. Because here we'll send them a link with our predicted demand for the following week, what the order is going to look like, and if they need any changes. And all they have to do is text us back, tell us what they want to change, and type confirm, and the order will show up to their restaurant. However, obviously, if the restaurant owner wants to make more changes, they can also log in on our website and use their computer to do so. Ultimately, we're in the business of creating a future where machine learning is proactive, not reactive.
So let's look at the business model. So for our revenue model, we have two sources. So on the restaurant side, we're getting paid a subscription every month for them to use our end-to-end solution. But then we also get paid on the vendor side. Because let's say we're in an area like Austin here, we're working with multiple restaurants, and for all those restaurants, we're placing orders to Cisco. Therefore, we have greater negotiating power. We're able to negotiate lower prices, pass on some of those savings to the restaurant while keeping some of that spread for ourselves. Our North Star metric is the metric by which we use to track how well we're doing and how much progress we're making. For us, this is purchase orders filled, 706. Why do we choose this? Because we can directly break this down into how much money we're saving owners, how many pounds of food we've ordered, and how much time we're saving them.
Great. So now let's take a look at the market that we're about to enter. So the U.S. restaurant industry is massive at $730 billion. And to be a little more specific, we're targeting single unit and large food groups, which stand at $418 billion in market value. And to go into segmentation a little bit more, all the restaurants you're seeing here are actually beta users of our application, and including the parent companies of Mighty Finds, which brings me to this conversation of large restaurant food groups. So that's a large kind of type of restaurant that we're trying to approach simply because they have different restaurant concepts but don't have systems in place like large franchises like McDonald's. And here we can really help them with the demand forecasting and also systematizing the process of ingredient purchasing. On the other side, we have independently owned restaurants. So given that they work very closely with each other, whether that's the managers and the owners and the chefs, we realize that there's a lot of labor costs and inefficiencies within their restaurants. And this is another group we're trying to help. However, it goes beyond just the restaurant industry and into the hospitality and cafeteria space. So on the left, you can see a picture of a United States Air Force food hall. And the great folks at AFWorks, which is the U.S. Air Force's innovation arm, actually reached out to us and asked if we can solve the food loss problem after presenting at South by Southwest. Similarly, the folks at Google Austin with their new building in downtown have asked us to help them with their new cafeteria. Obviously, as some may know, Google provides lunch for free, and what that results in is a lot of food loss. So they're trying to also maintain a lower kind of food cost and environmental impact as a company.
We've made a lot of progress in joining the program. So Chinmay's talked about some of them, picking up the independent restaurants, but I'd say the most notable are, branching on this new market, looking at these food halls. Definitely the most vital one is these food groups, because we're working with one restaurant each from these food groups, but they have over 60 locations all across the country that, if we do well, we're going to expand into them. And then also, we're getting hands-on experience with these POS systems so we can build our integrations. Our end-to-end solution essentially consists of 4 nodes. And right now, we're working on connecting those nodes so we have the seamless end-to-end experience. On the POS side, this is building out these APIs so we can automatically pull that data and put it in the model. On the vendor side, this is building out APIs for those vendors so we can automatically place those ingredient purchases.
Great. So this is the team that's going to make this happen. And beyond all of our kind of professional experience, the most important experience we have across all 3 is we've all worked in restaurants, whether that's being the chef at a hoagie shop in Philadelphia or working with managers or helping the owner out during our free summers. Ultimately, Sprout Food Solutions is in the business of helping restaurants like Emma's save money and also giving them time to do what they love. Thank you.
So without further ado, I will actually get into the awards. Actually, no, I'll do a little bit of ado. I've spent a whole semester with these wonderful founders, the finalists that you saw, as well as all the other presenters in the audience choice pitches that you saw, and a few that chose not to include their pitch in the competition for various reasons. And it's been great for me to see them grow the ideas and grow as entrepreneurs. And it's one of the most rewarding things that I've experienced in a very long time. So thank you to all the participants in the 40 Acres Founders Program this year. All right, I'm done with the do. So I'm going to first announce the Audience Choice Award. The Audience Choice Award of $1,000 goes to Anjali. Yep.
Yes, come on up, Anjali.
Now, in fourth place, we have Meal Buddy. In third place, with the $3,000, we have Locket. All right. In second place, we have Clips AI. And so that makes the winners of this year's 40 Acres Founders Pitch Competition first prize, Sprout Food Solutions. Well, folks, thank you again, and a huge thank you to all of you who came to attend this very meaningful day for our founders here, and for encouraging them as they launch their businesses. Thank you very much.